Oh yes. Leave bigger hand. Being as it's such hard ground here,
whenever you're ready.
oh, we've got a pigeon now coming. Looks like it might come in. We're on the rape today, on cut rape. We've got a large pattern of about 60 enforcers out there, and the regular flapper. And yeah, got some new kit today to use. We've got a shot cam we're going to have a go at if I've managed to install the app properly. And hopefully the pigeons have been working this the last couple of days. We'll get some shooting. Yep. That one on the right. Car. Follow it down. Your birds coming from there. First one as well. What's going on? That's it, I think. Just changed my chokes over. I'm finding that I'm taking the longer shots first rather than the closer ones, so just change the chokes over, give us a bit of tighter pattern further out, try and get some cleaner shots. Don't like to wound anything ever, and if we get anything wounded on the ground, I either shoot it again or get straight out after it. Mainly because I don't like leaving the hide. If you keep leaving the hide, you end up shooting less birds because you're messing around. I won't shoot that as a buzzard. Pigeons on the right. So what have I got to tell you about my hide spikes?
Go on.
Well, they're good, but then there's a pigeon coming, so go on! We're hitting a lot. Yeah, so the hide spikes, we started out, I've used hide poles, many of them, and always struggled on this ground particular, getting them in. So after breaking quite a few, at roughly the same sort of time, I started shooting on the foreshore. And with shooting on the foreshore, hide poles with the foot that you can foot into the ground, they don't stand up very well in the mud. So a washing line pole is even better because you can slide them straight down into the ground. But then I had the problem of coming back on here pigeon shooting. I couldn't get those to stand in the ground, so I was chopping and changing with different ideas. Started using just a bit of metal pipe and folded the end over with a hammer, as I can't weld. Would slide those in, and that sort of worked, but the metal pipe kept opening up. And then for some reason, I'd obviously had a few beers, I decided to make them out of aluminium, or get someone to make them out of aluminium for me. And it's gone from there really. And they're selling quite well. We've Also, I've now adapted my magnet, which I'll show you shortly, to use a hide pole so I can sink it into the ground just to give it a better footing. I have seen magnets fall over before, especially on this ground because it's so hard, and no one wants a broken magnet in the middle of a pigeon day. So yeah, just fiddling around really and trying different ideas. So yeah, it's good. Did I click that last pigeon? What is going on? This one. Gonna drop. So in the box of hide spikes, you'll get 4 spikes and a knocking rod. And there's a little, I don't know, bit of writing in there. What would you call that?
Instructions.
Oh, there's a set of instructions in the box also. So yeah, when they arrive, they'll come through the post, Royal Mail. Usually, if you place your order, it'll be with you within about 3 to 4 days, working days, that is. And then yeah, great for hard ground. Not always essential. And yeah, it's quite easy. We take the hide spike, take the knocking rod and slide it into the hide spike, drive them into the ground, and then once they're firmly in the ground, don't need to take them all the way. In some situations, sometimes you do, then take your knocking rod out, slide your pole in, and voila, good day shooting is built from the ground up. So there's been a lot on social media about how we get the hide spikes out of the ground. Some people have said we need a JCB, other people said we'll need a HIAB of some sort. It's really not that difficult. You slide the knocking rod into the hide spike, give it a good wiggle, and they'll come out. I haven't suffered with any problems of them being stuck in the ground. I did think I might try and set some in concrete and see if I can get them out for a laugh.
Give me a little tip for when you're in the hide, Henry.
A little tip, yeah. Mr. Producer. We want to make sure when we're in the hide we're looking through a net rather than keeping our head over the top. Just gives the pigeons a little bit more chance of coming in without seeing you. And then if you do get groups of pigeons come in, or small groups, make sure you get the first one to commit to the pattern and take the back one first. I'll try and demonstrate that at some point, but today's not going overly well. And other than that, just make sure you put your surveillance in, be out watching your fields as much as possible. You can set up as many times as you want, but you're never going to build a good bag unless you've done your homework and you've watched your flight lines.
So when you say your surveillance, so for example, what are you doing prior to a day's shoot? Prior
to a day's shoot, I would be out here, basically it ruins marriages. So you want to be out as often as you can at different times in the day, spotting your flight lines in and out of the field, and just getting an idea of the way that the birds are moving. And obviously things constantly change, be it harvest comes along, or the weather, for instance, time of year, and that will change the way that the pigeons are moving about and feeding. So get a little bit of an understanding in your own head, but when you come to shoot, make sure you're watching that field sort of for the 3 or 4 days at least leading up to it, so you can work out where best to put your hide and hopefully bag yourself a few pigeons. Twice.
Right, what are you thinking?
I think we need to bring the pattern in just ever so. We're not quite where I want to be. Ideally we want to be on that hedge, but the way the wind is, that's not going to work either. So the pattern's out at the moment. The furthest bird is probably 40 yards, and I'm just going to drag them in probably 10 yards because we've got stuff floating around at the back of the pattern at the moment. Hey. Shot cam went on, was it?
I got it. All over it.
Right, Mr. Producer. Hey, cool, that's solid.
You're right. You need some sort of tool to get that in place.
Yeah, don't you just? Right, so I've since getting these, I've now adapted my magnet to get in the ground with the height spike. So yeah, being as it's such hard ground here, all I've done is, sorry I should show you, all I've done is cut the tip off and shorten these, because obviously they're usually a lot longer, and then that just gives us a better footing in this hard ground. That isn't going to go anywhere, which is ideal because you never want one of these to fall over. Pigeon shooting is expensive as it is, let alone when your magnets break. And yeah, away we go. That'll be on there all day, won't have any problems, as sturdy as you like. Cool. Ta-da!
Whack!
Loads behind. Leave that one! Oh my Christ! Oh Jesus! I give up.
The one on its own?
Yeah, I think so. I was going to land in it. Good feather shot. He's behind it.
Where'd he go?
Where'd he go? Left, I'll go right. Ready, go. One in front. Ready, up we go.
Just so fucking sharp.
On the flight line, you've got some serious sport because they're not necessarily coming into the pattern, they're just upstairs, aren't they? But not good for shot to kill ratio.
Here we go, another one to the right. Just going behind us.
More behind it. Hey! So that makes our 300. I think we're going to call it a day there. Get the dogs brought up from my partner Zoe, have a good clear up. It just shows that with a big enough pattern, even though the birds aren't feeding on this field, you can still draw them in. Had a lot of stuff just passing traffic today, but we have eventually managed to get them to come into the pattern. But yeah, good day had by all.